Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai, the Supreme Master by Kirala Bharadwaja Garu. Appendix 1. The Spiritual Tradition of Lord Dattatreya. Lord Dattatreya is the manifestation or avatar of God as Guru. Tradition defines the Guru as the Hindu trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara in one, along with their common substratum of the absolute Parabrahman. That is why one tradition says that the Holy Trinity was born in one form as Lord Dattatreya to save Artri and his wife Anasuya. Out of the absolute or Parabrahman, the Holy Trinity is said to have been manifested at the beginning of creation. All the other avatars of God described in Hindu mythology are forms and aspects of Trinity or their feminine counterparts. Lord Datta, being the Trinity in one and their common ground of absolute, is greater than all the other gods. The perfect master or the Sadguru on the human plane of existence, being the manifestation of Lord Datta, is said to be all the gods in one. As the whole creation is the phenomenal working out of the aspects of the Trinity, the Guru Gita describes the Guru as all gods. The essential spirit of Lord Datta, being such as described above, the whole of manifest creation is his one state or foot, pada, and the unmanifest absolute is the other. Thus, the 2 feet of the Guru have in them all the holy places, rivers, and supreme self. For a further appreciation of the sublime nature of the Guru, one has to study and reflect on the verses in praise of Guru in Guru Gita. Lord Datta is the perfect embodiment of the Pranava, Om. The Trinity is signified by the sounds A, O, which together constitute Om. The Ardhatan mantra the Ardha Tanmatra or the half manifest ending of the sacred syllable which ends in silence is the absolute aspect of Lord Datta. The Trinity signifies all the triplets in the creation like past, present, future, the gross, subtle and causal bodies. The other avatars of the God being but the manifestations of the Trinity appear in time for a limited function and withdraw from the creation after the completion of their mission. The avatar of Lord Datta, on the other hand, happens in order to lead the individual souls back to the realization of the Supreme Self. This is a mission which continues all through time in creation. Hence, Lord Datta is said not to withdraw from existence. How then does he continue to appear on earth? A perfectly realized one is liberated from the false sense of limited individuality. Indeed, it is a fallacy and a misnomer to refer to such a one as a realized one. As such, when a number of perfect masters or Sadgurus appear simultaneously at any time, we, in our ignorance, might refer to them as so many masters, but a little thought is enough to show that the absolute reality cannot be either one, two, or many. It is simply non-dual advya and non-other itara. We are nearer the truth if we say that the 5 masters are the manifestations of the one absolute. This one essence of all realized saints of any time is Lord Datta fulfilling his mission at the time. That is why the mythological accounts of Lord Datta depict him as appearing from time to time as various Mahatmas. Now he appears as a recluse, looking like a madman and behaving like one. Again, he appears as one possessed by the devil. Now he is described as never adhering to any principles of healthy living. At other times, he is described as a sadhu who fulfills all the injunctions of religious law and observing perfect purity of body, mind, and speech. He is identified with the Avaduta or like recluse saint who expounded spiritual wisdom to Prahlada and to King Yadu. The Lord Datta, being the one absolute spiritual essence of all the perfect sages, is not a mere theoretical projection, is borne out by the fact that the lives of various perfect ones are full of practical instances of this inner identity. But the Mahatmas who can demonstrate such identity with other Mahatmas are extremely rare. It can be said that only such saints are the complete embodiments of Lord Dattatreya. We have the grand instance in the life of Sai Baba of Shirdi, and in this sense, he can be said to be unique among saints. In terms of manifestation in Mahatmas, spiritual perfection can be classified into two categories: Siddhi, Jnana. Siddhi and Gnana. Siddhi is perfection manifesting itself as absolute power over all phenomena in existence. Gnana is its manifestation as the inner realization of the absolute unity of all existence. Thus, most of the Mahatmas belong chiefly to either of the two categories only and only marginally manifest features of other category. A perfect balancing of these two aspects of the perfection is extremely rare. Such a Mahatma will be experiencing the non dual absolute as his very self, while we creatures in existence experience him as a Siddha par excellence. Lord Datta represents this perfect blend of Gnana and Siddhi. Thus, mythology describes him as having taught the path of Siddhi through yoga to some of his disciples and pure Gnana to others. Indeed, such a manifestation of perfection in a saint is so rare and exalted that all other saints of his time are bound to acknowledge his supremacy. Thus, for instance, most of the Mahatmas of his time, both Hindu and Muslim, acknowledged the superiority of Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi and called him the Kohinoor among the saints. Of all these, Sri Swami Samarth is the only one who could say that Sai Baba was his another manifestation, and Sai Baba acknowledged it too. We have said in the introduction that in order to attain enlightenment, we have to take the refuge of a perfect saint. Lord Dattatreya, the avatar of God as Guru, has to bring home to us the supreme importance of this. So, in every one of his manifestations, while being a perfect master himself, Lord Dattatreya, as the saint, ever claims that he attained perfection by resorting to a guru. The Avadhuta tells Yadu in the Bhagavad Gita that he had 24 gurus. And a saint like Sai Baba of Shirdi says that he owed his spiritual excellence to the grace of Sri Guru. Sri Swami Samarth by saying that he was Sri Narsimha Saraswati of Gangapur implied that he too had a guru in Sri Krishna, as in Sri Krishna Saraswati. Spiritual wisdom is basically the same in all religions. Hence, if indeed Lord Datta represents the one essence of all saints, there should be an underlying harmony between the mystics of various religions. But again, only few very exalted ones can manifest this unity. We have one such in Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi. Even the other five Mahatmas of his time, like Sri Swami Samarth, Sri Gajanan Maharaj of Shegaon, Hazrat Tajuddin Baba of Nagpur, Sri Dhuniwala Dada of Khandwa, have all manifested this aspect of Lord Datta. Though each of them belongs to one particular religion except Sai Baba, they acted in unison and led the devotees of different religions forward on spiritual path. What is more, when we look at the lives of such legendary Mahatmas as Sri Padma Sambhava of Tibet, Dattatreya of India, and compare them with the lives of saints like Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi and Abdul Qadir Gilani of Baghdad, they all look very similar, even archetypal. It is the Datta spirit manifesting itself everywhere. That is why every one of the five great contemporaries of Sri Swami Samarth pointed to this subtle omnipresent spirit as their true being beyond their mere physical sheath. In devoutly studying the account of their lives, we recognize the Datta spirit manifesting itself. Recognizing it with all our being, we learn to culture the Datta spirit in ourselves. Thereby, we are magnetized spiritually. Continuous study of and contemplation on the Datta spirit at work is an intense form of medication. But we must remember that miraculous instance we find therein we find therein are but pointers to the higher truth. The wonder inspired by the miracles is not our main concern. The wisdom that they evoke in us regarding the spiritual nature of our universe around us is our chief concern, for it involves our true nature too, and knowing our true nature is self realization, which is the one goal of all religions. This spiritual practice of studying and contemplating the lives of such perfect saints as Sri Swami Samartha and other five cannot easily degenerate into a dead habit as it happens in the case of other methods of sadhana like chanting the divine name, ritual worship, or hatha yoga. Such study also fortifies us against falling a prey to the lure of all miracle mongering and wisdom flaunting half baked self styled Mahatmas that infest the wilderness of spiritual life today. One is enabled in advance to recognize the true from the false. The constant study and contemplation of such sublime accounts of Mahatmas develops in us a nucleus of spiritual potential which will gravitate us towards genuine Mahatmas of the highest order. We find this principle amply illustrated in the experiences of the devotees of these Mahatmas. Thus, the devout study of the lives of Mahatmas came to be the essential element of spiritual discipline in the Dattatreya tradition. When the spiritual nucleus has shaped itself in a sufficiently strong, such a study becomes no longer necessary, just calling back our attention to the spirit of Lord Dattatreya by recalling his name or the name of his particular manifestation. We are drawn to our phenomenal self is transcended and we are the Datta spirit. When this process matures, repetition becomes superfluous and our self awareness becomes the awareness of Datta as our true self. The one unmistakable sign that we are moving in right direction is that as a result of our study, our view regarding the universe around us gets transformed progressively. Instead of looking upon things, persons, and events as such, we learn to recognize them as the working of Datta spirit. When this viewpoint matures, it extends to aspects of us such as our body, mind, and self. The within and the without are one. There is no within and no without. What is Datta. It is easy to note that this path of study and contemplation on the lives of Mahatmas by virtue of the miraculous incidents comprising them help us from being bored with our spiritual discipline. Indeed, our own miraculous experiences enrich our lives and win our heart and soul to the discipline. There is no inner conflict and tension between spiritual and material aspects of our life any longer. Very few modes of spiritual discipline can claim this virtue. Further, this path steers clean of all the vain philosophical hair splitting controversies as between different religions and different schools of mystical philosophy like dualism, non dualism, qualified non dualism, between idealism and materialism. The insight that accrues to us by such study and contemplation will enrich our attitude to things and persons and neutralize our earlier undesirable tendencies. If with such understanding we are able to perform religious worship of Mahatmas of our choice, our awareness of Datta spirit manifest in him is deepened and the rest of our sadhana is enriched. This can be supplemented further and extended to every corner of our personal life if we cultivate the habit of offering everything that we eat and drink to our Guru and partake of it as his consecrated offerings prasada. Avadhuta is another name for Lord Dattatreya. It signifies one who has shaken off the illusion and impurity of ignorance. It is a name which is commonly used with regard to such recluse saints as Swami Samarth and his five great contemporaries. We have noted that the study and contemplation of their lives constitute this progressive shaking off of our ignorance. In spite of all that is said, a doubt may still persist whether this discipline is deemed sufficient by the traditional Hindu wisdom. So, a few words of clarification are not out of place. Vedanta says that the true divine self of man is hidden from our view by three barriers: Maladosha, Vikshepa, and Avarana. Such base instincts as lust, greed, and hatred, which thwart our spiritual self discipline, constitute the first. The ageless Indian wisdom, right from the Vedas down to Shrine Shankaracharya, has enjoined selfless activity without attachment for the fruits of action, action for its own sake, action as self discipline, action as service to the Lord is the way to sublimate these negative tendencies. Lack of fixity, lack of concentration is the second one. Indian wisdom enjoins enjoins upasana or cultivating the presence of the chosen deity as the remedy for it. When these two barriers are thus overcome, the seeker is asked to seek refuge from a perfect master. A rereading of all that we have said shows how these three corrections of our inner life was implied in the path of study and contemplation of the life of Mahatmas. Thus, Lord Dattatreya is the truth, the way, and the life. He is the beginning and the culmination of search for the spirit. Now I shall briefly mention the earlier avatars of Lord Datta. The first of them in this age was Sripada Sri Vallabha. He was born in the 11th century at Pitapuram in East Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. At the young age of 8, he renounced the world and left for Kurupuram in Maharashtra, where, after carrying out his miraculous mission, left off his physical frame in river Krishna. But before doing so, he assured one of his lady devotees that he would be born as her son in her next life. Accordingly, Sri Narasimha Saraswati was born as the second avatar of Lord in 15th century in North India. He carried out his wonderful mission from Gangapur, Sholapur district in Maharashtra. Later, he left for Kadali or Khard near Sri Sailam in Andhra Pradesh. Nothing more was known of him afterwards. During the 18th century was born the third avatar, Sri Manikya Prabhu of Manikya Nagar, Gulbarga district, Karnataka. Before his marvelous career came to a close, Sri Swami Samartha arrived on the spiritual firmament. When he told his devotees that he was Sri Nrsimhaban, he was identifying himself with the second avatar of Lord Dattatreya. The accounts of the first two avatars was recorded by Sri Gangadhara Saraswati in his Marathi work Sri Guru Charitra, the English version of which was written and published by the author. Appendix 2. Places to be seen at Akalkot. The most important place is obviously the Samadhi or the tomb of Swami. However, it is easy for strangers to visit Sri Balappa Maharaj Mutt first at Akalkot. There we can see several beautiful pictures of Master. From there, the visitor will be directed to the Samadhi Mandir. The third important place is the banyan tree which the Master loved dearly and under which he left off his physical frame in 1879. At Sri Balappa Maharaj Mutt, one can have darshan of Sri Gajanana Maharaj, to whom there is reference in the introduction. The visitor can proceed to Gangapur by bus, where he can see the padukas of Sri Narasimha Saraswati and the confluence Sangama of rivers Bhima and Krishna, and the celebrated fig tree which is hallowed by the stay of Sri Narasimha Saraswati. Jai Sai Master.